Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we're going to be discussing Hogwarts Legacy and DLC, which stands for Downloadable Content. In other words, expansions, add-ons, upgrades, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be tackling the important questions like, is it happening? When is it happening? What type of DLC can we expect? The first thing that I want to address is a quote from Alan Tew, lead game designer at Warner Bros. Interactive, which has been circulating around the internet. In this quote, Alan discusses the future of the game and his thoughts on the current state of DLC. The quote was made at the IGN Fan Fest. "We've been really heads down bringing Hogwarts Legacy to life, so at the moment there are no current plans for DLC. Unfortunately, the internet ran with this a little too quickly, as his statement invariably sparked the creation of thousands of videos and articles in which the respective authors so proudly titled their new piece of content, 'No DLC for Hogwarts Legacy EVER.' This is simply not the case. Tew merely said that there are no plans for DLC at the moment, and this is completely fair if we consider the infancy of the game. This absolutely does not mean that we will never receive DLC. That just wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Around 10 to 20 million copies of the game have already been sold this year alone, and the game is still only just rolling out. At this point, only the diehards have bought and beaten it. Casual fans are just starting to get their hands on it, and the rest of the market, who I'm sure will catch on, will eventually be enticed by the game, regardless of whether or not they're a huge Harry Potter fan. But the internet does thrive on drama and clickbait, so this is to be expected. A response to trending tweets surrounding a lack of DLC was fulfilled by Paul Tassi, who made the following remark. "A better way to frame Alan's response to the DLC question is to remember that we've only launched on half of our SKUs so far. There are people out there who still don't have a game in their hands yet, and we don't want to shortchange those folks. This is a much healthier and more productive way to look at Tew's statement, and it's completely true. The game is brand new and hasn't even rolled out on all platforms yet. Why would there be DLC already? Personally, I think we'll get some DLC towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, but that's just my opinion. A big factor to consider as well is the scale of the DLC. But most importantly, try to remember that DLC will most likely happen, and that most of these articles spouting off about no DLC ever are just trying to get your click. With all of that said, however, what I want to focus on next is the what. What type of DLC can we expect? Hogwarts Legacy has uniquely set itself up to seamlessly introduce a lot of different aspects of the wizarding world, from the micro of Hogwarts to the macro of the greater wizarding world. Obviously, with no announcements for DLC, this is all speculation, but here's what I'd like to see, starting with the biggest. Quidditch. The biggest lost opportunity of Hogwarts Legacy is the extremely apparent lack of Quidditch. There's a Quidditch pitch, we can fly a broom, and the game is an integral part of Harry Potter lore. Since Hogwarts Legacy has inspired a new generation of Harry Potter fans that may or may not know the intricacies of Quidditch, let me briefly summarize. Quidditch is a team sport played by witches and wizards on broomsticks, and involves 4 balls, a quaffle, 2 bludgers, and a golden snitch. A game of Quidditch is played with 7 players on each team, and each player has a specific position and role. The objective of the game is to score points by throwing the quaffle through one of the opposing team's 3 hoops, while simultaneously defending your own team's hoops from the other team. The 2 bludgers are used to disrupt the players and throw them off course. The game ends when the golden snitch, a small, fast-moving ball with wings, is caught by one of the players. The team that catches the snitch earns 150 points and ends the game. Given that there's a Quidditch pitch already developed on the Hogwarts grounds, this seems like an obvious and inevitable piece of DLC. Triwizard Tournament. The Triwizard Tournament is a magical competition held between 3 wizarding schools: Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Beauxbatons Academy of Magic, and Durmstrang Institute. In this tournament, 1 champion is chosen to represent each school and compete in 3 dangerous tasks, with the winner receiving a grand prize. These tasks test the skills, bravery, and intelligence of the chosen champions from each school. The tasks are kept secret until the day of the tournament, and to the winner is awarded the Triwizard Cup and Eternal Glory. Given that Hogwarts is a participant in the fabled Triwizard Tournament, it seems obvious that the Triwizard Tournament would be included as DLC. The problem with this? Well, it'd break canon. The reason I say this is because the Triwizard Tournament was discontinued after 1792, taking a 200-year hiatus before being resurrected in 1994. A Triwizard Tournament in 1890 just wouldn't make sense, and given that the game has done such a good job of preserving canon so far, I'm not completely convinced that this will become available. Other schools. The possibility for Hogwarts Legacy developers to include other schools seems, to me, fairly likely. I say this because other schools are mentioned in the game, and developers would be able to capitalize on an area of lore where it would be much harder to contradict canon. We don't know too much about the other wizarding schools, and so this sort of DLC would give them a lot of freedom. And when I say other schools, I am of course referring to the long list of other wizarding schools across the globe, not just the ones from the Triwizard Tournament. These schools include Ilvermorny, North America, Mahutukoro, Japan, Castelo Bruxo, Brazil, Ouagadougou, Africa, Durmstrang, Northern Europe, Beauxbatons, France, and Koldovstoriets, Russia. If you want more info on these schools, then check out my video, The History of Every Magic School in the Wizarding World, all 11, Harry Potter Explained. Bigger world. The wizarding world of Harry Potter is vast, and so I'd very much like them to expand the explorable areas. If it was mentioned or shown in the books and or films, then I'd like the ability to go there. Little Hangleton, Privet Drive, the Ministry of Magic, these are all places I'd like to be able to openly explore. The rest. In addition to the above larger pieces of DLC, I'd also like to see the following smaller things implemented either through DLC or patches. These things include subsequent school years, years 6-7, interactive NPCs, craftable polyjuice potion, higher max levels, more talents, more side companion quests, consequences for using dark magic, wizarding lore implemented, consequences for being underage and entering the Forbidden Forest, the ability to become an animagus, time turner, time manipulation, enhanced morality system, more spell variety, wizarding careers, and the ability to cast a Patronus, among other things. Of course, bearing all of the above pieces of potential DLC in mind, I think I can safely say that, among all potential new features, multiplayer would probably have the biggest impact. Multiplayer mods are in development by independent developers, but as of now, Portkey Games and Avalanche Software have not mentioned anything. At the end of the day, it's still early days for Hogwarts Legacy, and given the massive popularity of the game thus far, I'm sure the possibility of DLC is extremely high. And that's it for this video. If you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. What DLC do you want to see? Comment down below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.